ChannelPro Weekly number 199, self-addressed stamped security. Where you also find some details like on the next story. So Cytracom has acquired somebody. I don't remember Cytracom acquiring a whole lot of companies, right? So this might be new. This is probably why it's newsworthy. Kudos to you for figuring that out.
You're right, and we can kind of touch on that a little bit later on. Acquisitions have not historically been a big part of the strategy at Cytracom, and we can even talk about why that is. But as we're recording this, 3 hours ago, the news broke that Cytracom has bought a company called Omninet. Now, Omninet, that's a name the company adopted in 2017. They were doing business before that under the name My Digital Shield. I think a lot of people who are listening or watching right now are probably familiar with the company under one of those two names. It is a business that makes a cloud-based unified threat management. So essentially a cloud-based firewall product and a cloud-based software-defined wide area networking product. And they say you use these two things together, and what you get is optimized, clean internet. Big, broad brushstrokes. Omninet is in the security and connectivity business for the age of cloud computing. This is not on the face of it what Cytracom does. Cytracom is in unified communications and VoIP. Why are they buying a security and connectivity company? So 2 reasons. First of all, one of the things that they have discovered, looking at data about the calls that come into their technical support organization, is that a lot of them have to do with networking and security. And so if you are in the VoIP market, if you're doing UCaaS, like it or not, networking and security are going to be part of what you deal with. And they really felt like they could simplify things enormously for their partners if they actually owned a networking and security company. And so just right out of the gate, effective, today, there is integration between the voice platform from Cytracom and the SASE secure, help me out, Angela. What does SASE stand for? Secure something?
Secure Access Service Edge.
There you go. That's what Omni, that's like the shortest shorthand for what Omninet does. There's integration between that system and between the Cytracom system such that the Omninet system will recognize Cytracom traffic. It will automatically prioritize it and secure it. And so all of this kind of firewall level configuration that VoIP resellers have to deal with typically to get the thing to work right, none of that anymore. You don't have to worry about that. Cytracom and Omninet have essentially taken care of that for you behind the scenes. So that right there is sort of reason enough for Cytracom to buy Omninet, that they can kind of solve this time-consuming, expensive headache for MSPs. But, another thing that the Omninet product does, or another headache really that it solves, is the whole work from home security headache. So, in the old days, a firewall was a device. It was in the office. As long as you were working in the office, you were behind the firewall. Everything was safe. Now everyone's working from home. So how do you secure all those remote workers? And because this Omninet product is based in the cloud, essentially that, the perimeter is wherever you need it to be. It encompasses the office, but it encompasses all of those work from home, remote work locations as well. So from Cytracom's standpoint, this both helps them, helps make their VoIP product better, but it also kind of moves them into an entirely new market that, at least initially will be focused around work from home networking and security. So they are becoming more than just a voice vendor through this acquisition.
You know what else SAS stands for, Rich?
I'm sorry, what stands for?
Do you know what else SASE stands for?
No.
Self-addressed stamped envelope. That's what I actually thought you were talking about. I thought we were going back to mailing things again.
Yeah, I'm sure they checked that out at Cytracom before inking this deal. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me we just paid millions of dollars for an envelope?
But that's a secure and safe way to get things around. Who doesn't trust the post office these days? Lots of stuff in there, Angela. So, Richard, let's touch on real quick, and Angela, I'll get your thoughts. If there's anything in here that you find interesting. But historically, Citracom has not been a company that's kind of grown through acquisition. They generally do most of the things that they do in house, and they come with their own solutions and their own technologies. Is this a new byproduct of kind of being owned by private investment now, or at least partly owned by private investment? What do you think?
I think a little bit. I mean, they were apparently working on this problem, the connectivity security problem, on their own. And the way they described it to me basically is when they became familiar with Omninet and the Omninet product, they realized that they could accelerate the work that they were doing in-house pretty significantly by acquiring this intellectual property and the people who had created it. So they're not walking away from that historical commitment to developing things in-house, which they do and have always done because they have a very particular point of view on how things should work. They feel like they have a very strong understanding of the MSP market and what MSPs need. And obviously, if you build everything in-house, you can make it exactly what you want it to be. But in this case, they saw an opportunity to kind of jumpstart things a little bit by acquiring this company.
And Angela, you've got a lot of experiences you mentioned in kind of like phones and doing this kind of stuff. Is this an important problem to solve, especially these days with so many remote workers? Is this the right way to solve it?
It is. And I think that, equivalent to the security component of this kind of architecture is the quality of communications. How many hours a day do we spend on Zoom or in Teams meetings, or just having to communicate over the internet, whether it's in your office or at your home? That has actually been a challenge. I mean, at my house, I have two separate circuits, and I'll get the the Skylink here eventually when it's available for my area. But we have to have devices that will load balance and help balance out that network traffic so that I can be on the phone at the same time as my husband, who is downstairs doing almost the same job, right? And then the kids playing the video games or whatever else it is that they're doing. So I think this addresses a critical quality and availability concern as much as it does a security concern. And I'm always a proponent of don't recreate the wheel. Somebody has created something that is solving the problem that you have. Find a way to integrate, or in this case, they're very fortunate that they were able to they're in a position to go buy it and it works right out of the gate. So very smart move.